So the question comes is, where would I put these textures or material, or these textures in the material in Maya? So let's say I wanted that wood texture on my floor in here. So I go, oh, go away. I go into this material, and I would start to add the textures into the spot that I want. So I'm just going to clear them out by, anytime I want to get rid of a texture or something that's connected just through the attribute editor. So you see I have an input here. I can go to the name, right click, and say break connection, and that gets rid of it. So if I go through yeah, okay, so there we go. Yep. So in the diffuse color, I would bring in a file, and that file would be the redwood base color. Now, of course, the first thing we see is that the tiling is like way off. So I'd have to go to the placement node and repeat the UVs to something reasonable. Let's try 8 by 8. That's actually much better. See? And I have to remember what the tiling was, unless I just make them all connect to the same placement node, because every texture that's based off of this one, I have to tile just as many times. Otherwise, they don't line up with each other. So I'd have a normal map that's huge, and then the color map is tiled and tiny. So they're all based off the same. So any treatment I give to one, I have to give to the others. So we go in back to that material, and we'd start plugging in different things. Let's do the bump map next. Same thing, we bring in a file. Under bump value, image name, redwood bump. And then I'd have to tile it. So I'd go to its placement node, repeat UV 8 by 8. It's weird. Let's see. Okay, I'm curious. Let me try the what happens when I do the normal map there. Ah, it's working better. That'll work. So I'm just going to use the normal map because I could see its effects a lot better. I'm just going to tell the normal map I'm not applying it as a bump, that I'm applying it as tangent space normals. And wow, see that? So now we could see it. When you're using a bump map, which is your grayscale image, you want to set it to bump. If you're using a normal map, you go to tangent space normals. And I'm going to tone that down because it is way, way, way bumpy. People are cutting their feet walking on the floor. It's so bumpy. But now I have to adjust. Obviously, you look at that floor material and you're like, wow, that is a very, very glossy, shiny, bumpy material. So I want to tone that down. And I could either use my texture maps that I created to start to give the effect that I want, or I could do it manually. And that would be inside of, which version am I in? 2017, okay. I love it. It would be inside of specular and reflection, which would be the ones that I would adjust in this version. So you could see if I tone down my specular, it gets pretty dull. You see that? But if I actually increase the weight of it, wow. But this is just right now I'm just affecting a global value across it. It's not looking at some areas and not others. Okay? So this is where I could start to plug in some of my textures, because remember, in here we have a roughness and a metallic. And I didn't do a, let's see, who's it? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So as I look at those, now I go, where can I plug those puppies in? Roughness is like, is it totally reflective, or is it not reflective at all? Now you notice this makes it shiny, but it does not have a reflection, which gives this film look to it. So let's try plugging in some of these guys. Let's plug into the roughness. Let's try the roughness map. And remember, anytime I plug these in, because the other textures are tiled 8 by 8, I have to do the same for the other ones. They have to swap that, but let's just see. Oh, weird. Why is that doubled? Oh, I see why. Never mind. Yeah, I think I have them inverted. Hold on. Let's put you in the color map. Let's try this. It's chugging a bit because I'm actually rendering while recording while working in a 3D program. So it's going a little bit.
So, is your floor, is that a AI standard?
Yes.
Just checking.
Indeed. It's a little better.
Check it out with what we're doing, see if we can follow it.
Mind you, in this particular scene, I don't have my lighting really set up yet. Which is also affecting some of this. Oh, absolutely. And this is what I have right now. That's actually not bad. I have the image in the color. So I have the roughness image in the color, using it as a mask to where I want it. Too many windows. There we are. So I have it in the specular color, and then I can adjust like the weight of it. So if I crank it up high, you see it's high, but now I can just adjust it here. Now granted, this is going to change a bit if I add lighting, which I need to. Now I made a video for lighting the room, or starting to light the room, and setting up the sky. So if I actually go into this one, let me just do that real quick so we could actually get some real light in here.
So Professor, are you using Arnold with sky dome light?
Yep. So I make an Arnold sky dome light. And like I said, in 2018, you don't have to do the sky dome and the sky for it to be seen. They've actually fixed that, which I'm very thankful for. One less bell to answer. So I'm just going to pick an image to light from outside. Okay. So I created that, and I'm going to create, remember, then you have to create the actual sky, which I can actually go into the render settings. All renderer. We did this last time. Environment background. So this is all in the video, so don't worry. That's why I'm not worrying too much about just
And then once you go to like environment background, that's where you select like a file basically.
Yep. go.
I'm having an issue with the substance panel. There's some spot that says troubleshooting. Not quite sure what it is.
Oh. I'll show you how to fix that later.
It's something you have to adjust in your registry. Here we go. That's weird. There you are. Okay, that's a little better. So what we have here we could see it's taking its own sweet time to calculate, but lighting setup going through the window. And like I said, this is the only annoying part, is that you definitely, as you start to work, the lighting is the thing that's going to start to slow things down a bit. There's not a whole, I mean, you can optimize things. Don't crank up values unless you know why you're doing it. I've seen it happen. And use a low resolution while you're testing out your lighting.
Like 520 or something?
Really, if I'm like trying to get just my basic lighting in, I even drop it down to 320 by 240. Just so I don't have to keep waiting. And then I boost it up when I want to see what a good render looks like. But it really just does depend on what you're trying to do. Under view, you could adjust the test resolution to like 50% of whatever the settings for your render is. you guys doing?